One of the most terrifying Pokemon in the entirety of competitive has always been Landorus Therian. While it might not currently be the very #1 Pokemon, it's always been a huge threat that teams need to consider. But what about Landorus Incarnate? Well, as of Generation 8, Sheer Force has been a usable ability again in competitive, and I want to try and see how good Sheer Force Landorus will be in the current Generation 9 meta. If you guys enjoy and want to see some more Reg D content, like and subscribe for more, and with that said, let's cut to the team that we'll be using today. So today's team features a team built around Grassy, Seed, and Zapdos, with Rillaboom as a really good support Pokemon. We also have Grimmsnarl for screens, which is a pretty good way to just make sure the team can stay alive long, though I'd be lying if I said I thought this Pokemon was very bringable in most games. Personally, it's been the mon I benched the most in practice with this. We also do have a Tera, Citrus Berry, Heatran with Substitute, which is actually really valuable to take on a lot of opposing Pokemon, since most things will typically ignore Heatran for some reason I've found. I don't know why, but I've just found that Heatran gets ignored pretty commonly pre-Tera. We also do have Urshifu Rapid, of course, because it's the best mon in the format right now, arguably. And finally, of course, the Landorus, which can take advantage of the screen support, as well as the fact that it's a ground type that doesn't really care about Rillaboom, which makes it a really good breaker here. With Sandsteer Storm, it's a really good way to take advantage of Sheer Force due to the fact that you'll be damaging both opponents at once, making this move very terrifying. While we do have a chance for burn, honestly, it's not really that valuable in my opinion, as the fact that Landorus can just KO both Pokemon usually with this makes it that considerable of an option. It's essentially just a special version of Precipice Blades in the hands of Landorus. If you guys want to try this thing yourselves, of course, it's going to be on screen and in the description below. But with that said, let's cut to the matches. Okay, today we are taking on for our first game of the day, Moltres, Galar, Chien-Pao, Tornadus, Fluttermane, Dragonite, and Chiyu team. Definitely interesting. It seems like it's Tailwind with Gmult and then dual lead option, I guess. Really just staple leads in this game. I will say having no Rapid Shock on this team though makes it infinitely easier, because otherwise that gave Torn a really viable lead partner when outside of Fluttermane, that is. So that's actually really good in terms of making this a lot more of a predictable matchup. I do kind of like, I need to pull up the team because I know this team had a lot of really interesting spreads. Not that they were like interesting in a bad way, just like I do need to be very particular about how I lead, which is fine. Realistically, the Zapdos actually as a Taramon is so obnoxiously good in this game. Tera Poison Zap should be really strong overall. I'll bring Heatran, and then I think I can't really bring Lando to this game, sadly. It's just not good into this team. It's good into a lot of teams, it's just not good into this one in particular. I could probably bring Grimmsnarl. Actually, Grimmsnarl's a really good mon. I think I'm going to bring Urshifu instead, though, just because of the fact that Urshifu is a lot harder to kill. And even just having the Focus Sash, just deeming that my opponent has to dual target me, will, I think, be useful in this game. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if this ends up actually being useful. I think it's a good chance at being usable, in my opinion. Just, it's going to depend on my opponent. So, looking at their team, let's see. I'm thinking it's going to be Torn Flutter. Torn and Flutter. Yep. Okay. For some reason, I thought that was going to be Torn Chien-Pao, but no, it's Torn Flutter. So I'll take that. Actually, that's pretty good for me. I think we just go with the Tera Poison Sap right away. I feel like there's not really much that stops us. There's not a mon that I would rather Tera, in all honesty, and just taking out Flutter should be huge. So what I'll do is I'm going to go for the Tera Poison, and I'm going to go for Thunderbolt into Fluttermane. And I'm actually also just going to go for a Drum Beating into Fluttermane. I think I'd rather just kill the mon entirely here. I think they're probably going to be Specs Flutter in this team fight, I guess. Typically, these Chiyu comps go with like Specs Flutter if they're not Booster. And it's not Booster, so I'm assuming it's Specs. And if my opponent ends up going for... I mean, really, no matter what they go for, I'm fine. But I would much rather just target the Flutter in case it's Sash, because it could also be Sash, I guess, in this comp. Though I think it's most likely Sash Chien-Pao. I think it's almost with certainty Sash Chien-Pao, but I can't really gamble that in case it's like Life Orb. They're going to be Power Gem. Okay, that's a Specs Fluttermane for sure. So a little bit unfortunate that I didn't just Thunderbolt the Torn, but honestly, at the same time, I think it still works out well, because in case this is like a really bulky Fluttermane and it took that hit, I would rather not gamble, especially since I'm not too offensive on Rillaboom, and I don't know the offensive calcs all that well. But we'll take it. We'll take it. We've already taken out Fluttermane. That's probably one of the biggest threats that this team had. Now most of the team's physical attackers besides Chiyu, which I can definitely handle Chiyu pretty confidently, in my opinion. And especially knowing the fact that my opponent also will have to deal with the fact... I mean, while I do have Tera, obviously, the fact that they go to Dragonite. Okay, so yeah, so besides Chiyu and Torn, though, everything else is physical, which is good for us. That's really good for us. I'm going to go for a Roost here, and then I'm going to proceed to go for a... I'm going to go for a U-turn into Dragonite. I'd actually love to get this thing back as a Fake Out Mon, but if they're going to go for like a Bleak Wind Storm plus E-Speed, that's fine. If they kill my Rillaboom, I'm okay with that. Because, again, it's much more useful, in my opinion, to just take out the Dragonite this turn. Well, not take out the Dragonite. We're not going to take out the Dragonite. But just to try and take advantage of it is probably the better way to put it. They are going to proceed to not go for E-Speed here. They're instead going to go for Ice Spinner. Now, is that going to be into Zap? Okay, so we take that hit. We take that hit, we get the static off, which is actually really huge. Pairing this D-Knight will be amazing for us later on. Zapdos probably won't outpace it anyway. In all honesty, this is probably still faster than us. It's either that or it's going to be really slow Dragonite. Actually, it might be really slow Dragonite, and this comp could support it pretty well. If it's multi-scale, though, we've now broken multi-scale, which is good for us. And I can proceed to just go right into... Let's see, so they went for... What did they even go for? It wasn't Tantrum. Definitely wasn't Tantrum. Honestly, I already... Oh, it was Ice Spinner, right? Just Ice Spinner. Ice Spinner's fine, actually. We're going to go right into Heatran. I'm going to try and take advantage of this and see if it's choice. Because if it's choice, I can probably get up a really free substitute this turn. And we'll just see from there. I'll go for a Thunderbolt into Torn. Mostly because it just does more damage. And it's a really good way for them around Urshifu right now. And I'm going to get a substitute up. Because I'm assuming that Dragonite is probably choice. And it's going to switch out here. If it's not choice, that's fine. We do still have the ability to bank on stuff like Paralysis. And also, if it's not choice at this point, Heatran might actually be kind of useless. Because I assume they would have already went Chi-Yu right now. And again, I don't see why they wouldn't have already went Chi-Yu at this point in the game. Not going Chi-Yu feels really bad. So, they're going to Tera Dragonite. Tera Normal D-Knight. Okay, Tera Normal D-Knight's honestly really okay for me. This makes Heat Wave a lot more spammable. Because, again, I don't think they have Chi-Yu. I think their last one's probably... I'm not sure what it is. So they're not choiced, but they also didn't click Tantrum just right into Heatran, which is fine. I'm really okay with that, actually. We do lose Zapdos in the process, but I can get a substitute up, which now means that handling the Dragonite is a lot more manageable. They're not choiced, which is fine. Which, yeah, I'm okay with not choiced. Okay. We're gonna go into Rillaboom here. And what I'm going to proceed to do, I'm going to go for the Fake Out and just see if that's multi-scale or not. And then meanwhile, I'm also going to go for... Yeah, I'm also going to go for the Heat Wave this turn. If my opponent gets full power, that's fine. If they're just inner focus, that's also fine. It's just good to scout for this, if nothing else. Just because of the fact that Dragonite will now be gaining multi-scale recovery back because it's grounded. And just, okay, so it is multi-scale. That's good to know. It probably leans more towards AV. I mean, we know it's not choice anyway. Rillaboom avoiding here is decent, especially since I'll get not only another turn where he drains behind a sub, but also I'll just have another turn to attack with Rillaboom. Dragonite avoids, I don't really care. I'm more concerned with hitting Torn anyway. Okay. So, let's see. So we can go for Protect, in all honesty. Like some sort of Protect turn plus... Okay, so they're Ice Spinner. They definitely have Ice Spinner, and they have... Okay. I'm going to just go for Knockoff into Dragonite, and then go for Heat Wave again. Well, actually, I'll go for Flash Cannon and just kill the Torn. Because Torn is definitely going to go for Bleak Wind here, and just killing Torn should be huge for an Urshifu Rapid endgame. If my opponent's going to attack here, that's fine. I can definitely protect around that, in all honesty. They're going to probably go for like an E-Speed into Rillaboom just to outpace it, which I don't care a ton about. My goal is killing Torn here. Because Dragonite shouldn't actually be a threat to my Rillaboom. Not to my Rillaboom, to my Urshifu, outside of just the priority that it has. And even still, it is paralyzed, which means that I can still Surging Strike it sufficiently anyway. And really, unless that last mon is going to outpace, I'm pretty set here. Flash Cannon will go off this turn into Torn. That just means that Torn is now dead, which is good for us. And if Dragonite gets fully parried here anyway, that's also really huge. And it's a lot easier to bank on than anything else. Knockoff is going to go off. This means that our Rillaboom actually does outpace the Dragonite, and we also do see a weakness policy pop, which is all good information. If Rillaboom does outpace, that means that Dragonite would have to go for an E-Speed into it to actually outpace us sufficiently. We know it's not Assault Vest, and even if it was Assault Vest, that's good for us, because it's now cleared. I'm curious about the last mon is. I'm assuming that it's probably not Chi-Yu. It's Chien-Pao. Okay, Chien-Pao coming in is fine. Okay. So Dragonite is E-Speed and Ice Spinner. I'm curious what the last two moves are. It's probably going to be like Dragon Claw and, I don't know, probably Filler. Like, I'm assuming it's probably Air Lace on that somewhere. We'll go for... So I'm going to go for a Flash Cannon into Dragonite. I'm assuming Chien-Pao will just go for a Protect this turn. Just to try and get around the... Well, one, just try and use that turn to try and weaken like a Sash or Shifu. They didn't go for it. Okay, that's fine. Even if they go for Sacred Sword, they'd have to go for literally Sacred Sword plus Tantrum. Dragonite gets paralyzed on the E-Speed. That's definitely an E-Speed turn. And Chien-Pao is going to go for Sacred Sword here. Okay, I'm okay with this. We should still get some really good damage at least, if nothing else, into the Dragonite. So I'm okay with that. I could probably actually just Aqua Jet this on the following turn. Because... Okay, so we actually just barely... Alright. That's unfortunate. I think I'm actually just going to Aqua Jet the Chien-Pao here. As weird as that sounds. No, actually, I'm just going to go for the Aqua Jet into D-Knight. And then I'm going to go for the Protect here on Heatran. Going for Protect and Heatran should work out well. We'll at least have the Focus Sash on Shifu here. So even if they do dual target, that's fine. The Aqua Jet play is mostly just to try and avoid any sort of death to Sacred Sword this turn, because I can then proceed to go for Surging Strikes into Chien-Pao on the following turn if I need to. I'm hoping that they did just target the Heatran, because targeting Heatran should be the best thing for me, but I do still need to make sure I have an out to Chien-Pao just in case. They're going to Sacred Sword into Heatran. Okay, perfect. That works out well. Okay. So what I can proceed to do now is I can go for a Surging Strikes this turn, and then I can go for a Flash Cannon here, just to make sure that I don't miss. If my opponent targets my Urshifu, that's fine. I'll get a really strong Flash Cannon off. And I don't know if they'll kill anyway. If they go for Protect, that's the worst thing they could do because I get a Surging Strikes for free. And if they go for Heatran here, I could probably just Aqua Jet sufficiently on the following turn, as I don't believe that Sucker Punch will KO from this range. They're going to Sacred Sword into Urshifu. Okay. So this isn't great. I can try and muscle past it, but I'd be lying if I said I thought it was a great turn for me. I do now need to bank on the fact that I'll take this hit, which is not super likely, but it's the turn I'm gonna have to make. Tailwind petered out, doesn't really matter. Okay. I guess the question is, do I take the hit? I mean, I don't really have a reason to believe that I will take this hit, but I kind of just need to see. That's what we're banking on now. Can we take the hit? We do not. Okay, unfortunate. Is what it is. Game 1 goes to my opponent. I think that maybe if I went for a Heat Wave and then like an Aqua Jet into Chien-Pao, I could have won. But it is what it is. It's a little unfortunate, but we'll make do. In fact, actually, yeah, if I just Aqua Jetted, I won. Yeah, it was really not great. But at the same time, though, it is what it is. Yeah, I actually misplayed pretty bad. Okay, well, regardless, so we'll see you guys in game number 2. Okay, so we finally have a matchup that Lando will actually do really well into. Lando should be a pretty good breaker in this game. Their team doesn't really... It's one of these matchups where, like, the balances are always really good for Lando. It's going to definitely be a cleaner, though. We're going to lead off with Rillaboom and Zapdos. Zapdos, in general, should just do some really good offensive work here. Meanwhile, and also just be really hard to kill, for that matter. Meanwhile, Rillaboom's a pretty decent pivot for us. And I can use it to bring in Heatran. Actually, I'm probably not going to bring Rillaboom. I don't really need the Phys Step boost, in all honesty. I kind of like the idea of just leading off with Zapdos and Heatran. We'll bring Urshifu instead. I like Urshifu a lot more. Urshifu is such a dishonest Pokemon. This thing just shatters everything on this team. Even stuff like not Zapdos, like Gyarados just doesn't really like having to take this hit because of the fact that we just crit through it and it can't just Intimidate Cycle us, which is huge. I don't think Gyarados comes to the record. I think realistically Gyarados and we have to bench here, if not like Corviknight and Gyarados, but definitively at least Gyarados is not coming to a Zapdos team that also has just really strong ways of damaging Gyarados. Like, I cannot imagine this comes unless it's an offensive set. They're gonna lead with the Iron Hands Grim. Okay, that's fine. It's not the lead I anticipated, but it's objectively a really fine lead for us. What I'll do is I'm gonna proceed to go for the Thunderbolt and just Thunderbolt Grim, and I'm gonna try and get a substitute up. I'm gonna see if my opponent will let me get the substitute up. They might just Drain Punch my Heatran, gets them on, they can kill, but frankly, I do think they kind of have to target Zapdos here, because Zapdos is so good against their team overall. It's great for breaking Corviknight, it's great for breaking really everything, and it's less so specifically like a 3 attack Zapdos that would be scary for them. It's the Roost set that we do have, because unless it's an SD hands, they actually have no check to this thing. If they're SD hands though, then this actually works out really well for them, but it's still a fine turn for me. They're there for Light Screen, so be it, I don't care. Because if they let me get the sub up, then this now opens up Heatran to also actually do some real damage here. We get the Para. Okay, that's good for us. This means that they're less likely to be able to Spirit Break us sufficiently, which I'm okay with. We're going to get the sub up with Heatran. I'm hoping they just neglected this and they went for SD, or even they went for Ice Punch. Okay. Ice Punch leads me to believe this is probably AV, but I'm okay with that. We'll We'll go for Hurricane the hands now, and I'm going to go for a Heat Wave this turn. My goal is to try and burn the hands, and then also maybe just confuse it even. I don't really care about roosting up, frankly, because if their goal is to Ice Punch, it means that they're neglecting Heatran now, which works out well, because it gives me more opportunity to burn them. So, I'm okay with this. Okay, so, let's see. Is Citrus? It's not Citrus. Okay, they're going to go for Swords Dance. Alright, I'm okay with this. I'll just go for a Roost this turn in the Heat Wave. I could actually also just go for... Okay, they're going to go for Speed Break. They won't drop my special attack because we're behind a sub. I could, technically speaking, just go for the... Okay, they're going to be Leftovers. They're probably going to go for Detect here. They're probably... Oh, are they really? No, they're probably 3 attacks. I'm still fine with this. We'll go for Heat Wave. Ice Punch will do about as much as it did last time because of the fact that we're losing our weakness. They're going to go for Parting Shot. Okay, Parting Shot into Zapdos. A good reason to have made the play that I did. Albeit it wasn't the real reason I made it. But it's just a good one. I thought they might try and go for Detect or like another Sword Stance turn. But I'm okay with this. Because hands not going for Tera is really okay. The fact they're also Leftovers is huge. They're going to go to Tinglu. Okay, Tinglu is fine. They're going to drop special attack, sure. But my goal isn't to try and go for special moves. It's to try and burn them. So I'm okay with this. And if we get the burn off, that's also really huge. Heat Wave goes off. We can also maybe even burn Tinglu, which is great. We get a crit on hands. I'd be lying if I said that wasn't appreciated, but it, again, was not the reason I clicked that move. We can honestly probably just go for like a Heat Wave plus a Hurricane again. I kind of just want damage, yeah. We'll go for Hurricane. Yeah, we'll go for Hurricane, and I'm gonna go for Tera Grass here. I do need to make sure I have the out to Tinglu, so we'll go for the Heat Wave. I can maybe potentially burn that. I don't think I'll do a lot of damage, but it's something. Tinglu will no longer be able to break me, though, because of the Tera Grass, and hands will do less damage to me overall. So if we didn't go for Drain Punch this turn, then it's really just going to be unhealthy. And even still, I could probably just kill the Iron Hands as long as I hit my moves. So Iron Hands should be gone. And again, that's like the most threatening one to my team, mind you. Okay. So the Hurricane is going to miss. It's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. Again, they need to go for Drain Punch here, though, or they're going to lose the Iron Hands. So I'm more than okay with that, because next turn I'll be able to just kill it. I'll be able to just kill it with whatever other Pokemon comes in, because they're prioritizing Zapdos here, which I'm okay with. Heatran will probably lose a sub to this. Oh, no, it didn't. It didn't lose a sub. Okay, that's really good for us. They're going to go for Drain Punch. Okay, that's fine. They'll get some health back, sure, but I can still bring in something that will shatter that very quickly. Okay. So what I'll do, I'm going to go for another substitute on Heatran, and then I'm going to go for the... Yeah, they did, like... They got nothing back from that. Holy shit. I wonder if that's a bug, because they literally recovered no health. They should have... Like, they're +2. They should have definitely taken more. Okay. Well... They're probably going to Tera the Tinglu at this point. I do need to kill the Heatran, though. I need to kill the Heatran, so I'm actually just going to go for Substitute, and I'm going to kill... Not the Heatran, the Iron Hands. I'm going to go for Substitute and go for Iron Hands directly. If they're Tera Grass, they're still going to die to this hit. But no matter what Pokemon they go for, this will put up a huge 50-50. Okay, they didn't Tera the Iron Hand. They didn't Tera either Mon. I'm really shocked by that play, but I'll take it. My Substitute should still be very free on Heatran. This should help with any sort of attack that Tinglu wants to go for. We know that we do take a sub as well. Like, our sub stays intact from Tinglu, so that's also really good for us. It would have to go for, like, a Heavy Slam. And even still, Heatran's so heavy, I don't think it would do real damage. They're going to go for Fissure. Okay. Urshifu. Okay, they're going for Fissure into Urshifu here. Now, that's really fine for me. If they're desperate enough to go for Fissure at this point, I'll just proceed to target the Tinglu. I'm just going to dual target Tinglu. If that's their prerogative, so be it. If they Tera Poison as well, I can try and hopefully fish them into that, because that'll just be better for the Landorus later on. For now, I'm gonna go for Surging Strike. Actually, I'll go for Protect. Am I? No, I'm gonna go for Surging Strikes here. And then I'm gonna go for Flash Cannon, and I'm just gonna kill the Grim. I'm gonna hope that it gets full parried, because it makes my job easier. They didn't even actually go for the... They didn't go for the Reflect here, which I'm okay with that. We'll be able to put the Tinglu basically at no health. So if they miss another Fissure, that's great. I can just proceed to Surging Strikes them again. If they kill with Fissure, that's also fine, because Landorus can pick that off now with Earth Power, which is okay. And we've killed the Grim now, which is perfect. Okay, so we're setting up for a really good Landorus end game, at least, if nothing else. They don't have a Mon that would really want to take that besides Corviknight. And if their Corviknight is the last Mon, that means they either need Tera and make them just weaker, or they... Okay, they're going to miss Urshifu. That's really unfortunate, actually. They could have broken a Sash, to be fair, but this doesn't really matter outside of breaking Sash. And even still, that only really makes any difference depending on their last Mon here. Crarmor, that's Corviknight, right? Yeah, that's Corviknight. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I just proceed to go for Surging Strikes into Corv, and then I go for Heat Wave. Again, they either need to go for Tera Dragon to take these two on better, or if they need to go for some sort of Tera on another Pokemon. I guess, I don't know. They're not really going to take this, actually. Like, they have no chance at 1v1ing us because of Landorus being in the back. And I hope that my opponent realizes that, because they're not breaking my sub. They're just not breaking it sufficiently. Even if they do, they're just putting me in such range. See, Tera Water. Okay, Tera Water's fine. They're not Tera Blast, and even if they are Tera Blast, it doesn't matter into anything that's on the field right now. What they probably have to do, they're probably Rocky Helmet, in all honesty. Which, yeah, Rocky Helmet, whatever. Doesn't matter. They're breaking Sash anyway. Good job, opponent. You broke my Focus Sash. Yeah, this should be fodder. This should absolutely be fodder, because even with this field positioning, they can't actually sufficiently break Landorus. And also, the Tinglu is just going to die, which is great, because that makes my Heatran a much more viable Pokemon, even if I'm just spamming Flash Cannon and dropping Spadef. Never mind, Tinglu takes that apparently. Good to know. Ooh, we burn. Okay, that's definitely lucky. No, it doesn't matter a ton in all honesty, because I just close. Okay, it really doesn't matter a lot now because I didn't even try and break my Sash. They do Fissure. Okay, so then again, literally matters for nothing because I guess like worst case scenario, I just Flash can't do that next turn. It doesn't really change anything though. It just speeds up the battle at this point, which I'll take that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and drop this Spadef. I think it's in my best interest to just drop this Spadef on Corviknight. So I'm gonna bring in Landorus and I'm gonna go for Flash Cannon and Protect. I can then probably just go for Earth Power Spam. Even if I don't actually drop this Spadef, it's still in my best interest to try for it. So we'll go for Protect here. Also, this stalls a Light Screen turn anyway, which is fine. So I'm more than okay with this. We'll go for Protect here, and then I'm gonna go for Earth Power in the next turn no matter what. I think the Light Screen will officially run up by next turn, which is huge, because that means that Landorus will do significantly more damage. Flash Cannon goes off. What's my opponent gonna do? They're gonna go for Iron Defense. Okay. Iron Defense doesn't mean anything here. We're two special attackers. I know they're trying to go for Body Press, and that's why they're doing it. Because they're Roost, Iron Defense, and then they probably have like 2 fillers. But I'm still fine with this. Technically speaking, Sansir would do a little bit more damage, but I'd rather get the actual hit off, because as you can see, we do so much damage here, and Corv cannot kill us in one shot, that this is way more important here. Okay. So they can only actually kill one Pokemon. And even still, okay, they have Mirror Armor. Good to know. Not that it was exactly a really hidden thing, but still good to know that they have it. Actually, it should have been obvious. They had pressure. It's still fine, in all honesty. Again, Landorus' play was more so about stopping the Light Screen turn. We killed the Corviknight anyway with Lando. We'll take that. We're 1-1 for the day. We'll see you guys in game number 3. Okay, so our final game of the day, we're taking on a team consisting of Cresselia, Arcanine, Greninja, Goldengo, Chimpao, and Dragonite. I do kind of like Lando here, weirdly enough. Not that I think that Lando was an amazing matchup, but it could be a good cleaner. Mostly just because I'm thinking there's a good chance that the Cresselia tears into a type like Fairy that could be decent. Mostly just, I don't know, actually, never mind. They don't Tera Fairy in this game at all. For some reason, I was thinking as if we had Urshifu like Single Strike. In that case, yeah, not Single Strike, yeah, Single Strike. In that case, yeah, they would Tera Fairy. But we don't actually really force that Tera. I still like Lando, mostly just because I don't really like Rillaboom into this team again. I feel like that again, the Zapdos Heatran lead just does really well. Well, actually, no, I do kind of like Rillaboom if nothing else, just to try and maybe I Tera my Rillaboom. I don't know. I do kind of like the lead like this. Maybe even we just bench Zapdos and go with like Rillaboom Heatran. Yeah, I think this is actually the better play. We'll go with offense in the back. I'm not huge on the Zapdos here. I can't lie. Zapdos isn't terrible in this game. I just think that Zapdos, it's just kind of on the field until it dies. And I can Tera Poison it, sure. But I feel like that I'd rather Tera the Landorus into Poison, because that can maybe allow me a really good Sansir Storm into killing just 2 Pokemon outright. And I think that'll be a little more beneficial. Realistically, though, I can just put up so much offensive pressure that I think I'll be okay. They're going to go with Greninja Goldengo. Okay, Greninja Goldengo is like the best lead I could have gotten here. Way better than I was anticipating. We're just going to proceed to go for Heat Wave and Fake Out. Heat Wave and Fake Out actually is like no counterplay here. And it allows me to stall going for Tera and Heatran, frankly, which is huge. So we'll go for Fake Out into Greninja. Fake Out into Greninja, even if they go for Protect, I don't really care. I could potentially look into things like Substitute or Tera on the following turn with Rillaboom and be fine. Even a Protect turn is okay. But I would rather just go for this Heat Wave and Protect on a Heat Wave and Fake Out, even if it's just meant to be damage. Damage is still fine. If they let me get that off, that's great. Greninja has now taken damage. If it's Focus Sash, that is now broken. I'm not going for the Heat Wave necessarily thinking that it's Focus Sash. Heat Wave is more so just because it's the best way to hit Goldango, so I'll take that. But it still has good damage on Greninja. Perfect. Okay. We've killed Goldango. I'll take this. Looking at their team, I think they probably bring in Qianpao here. I feel like Qianpao is the best bring in here. Qianpao is definitely good. I mean, it puts up a lot of pressure on the Rillaboom, which is really the slot that actually stops Greninja from doing anything. I could definitely take advantage of that for sure, though, with Tera. Tera Heatran, again, looks really good here. Dragonite comes in. Okay, Dragonite is so much better for me. Because what I can proceed to do, I can go for a Substitute on Heatran. Just in case they want Hydro Miss, but also, too, in case they just let me get the attack off. And then I'm going to proceed to U-turn into Greninja. In case I outpace the Dragonite, I could bring in another Pokemon later on. They're going to proceed to Ice Beam my Rillaboom. That's fine. We are Assault Vest. I'm sure we'll take this hit comfortably. And we see that this is Greninja's Life Orb, which is good. They're going to be DD Dragonite. Okay, that's a little terrifying, I can't lie, but I can make this work. Because I'm now U-turning on the Gren, which should allow me to get a Fake Out off. I've also went for the Substitute on Heatran, which means we're going to activate our Citrus. And we can also try and just scout around the Heatran, the Dragonite. They're DD, so that means that most they have, like, what, E-Speed, probably Tera Blast. They're probably Tera Blast flying, in all honesty. Ooh, we don't kill the Gren. That's actually really concerning. That is really concerning. I could bring it to Shifu and just Aqua Jet, in all honesty. They would literally need to Shuriken me, which I'm okay with that. So Greninja should be dead. It's an Ice type now. I have no concern for killing that. Meanwhile, I'll go for Flash Cannon into Dragonite and just try and break a multi-scale here. We'll kill Urshifu though first. I think that's the greater concern. And not Urshifu, Greninja. They would literally need to dual target me with priority to do anything here. They're going to go for Protect. Okay, little do they know that doesn't work. Dragonite would literally need to go for Dual Wing Beat to break through my Sash, which means that they're trading Urshifu with Greninja, which I'm okay with that trade. It might be a little scuffed, sure, but it does stop them from really breaking through my team that well. Specifically, the issue would be breaking through Heatran, because this also takes a lot of Tera Reliance off of Heatran, which I'm very okay with taking Tera Reliance off of Heatran. It's a great revenge killer they did have to Lando, albeit I will say that the Dragonite's a really good revenge killer as well, but I can make Dragonite, like, pretty manageable here. Qianpao comes in, okay. So my play is always just to proceed to go for the Heat Wave here, plus the... I feel like I do need to Tera specifically with this lead, because I need to try and take the Sacred Sword better. And then I'm going to go for Aqua Jet, because if my opponent is going to... I'm actually going to back out of the Tera here. I'm just going to go for Raw Heat Wave, and I'm going to go for the Aqua Jet here. Because if they go for E-Speed, I'm okay with this. They're going to go for Protect instead. I'm very okay with this, actually. They're going to go for E-Speed. Okay, they'll trade Urshifu, sure, but I can potentially burn Dragonite, which is fine. Kind of wishing I went for Protect just to try and scatter around Qianpao Protect, but it's not really a huge deal. Again, if I burn Dragonite, that's really, like, the best thing that I need here going for this play. Dragonite's going to avoid. Okay, whatever. Whatever, D-Knight. Alright. So, I'm going to bring in Rillaboom, and I'm going to fake out the Qianpao here. And then I'm just going to go for Heat Wave. Because I can... Actually, I'll just go for Flash Cannon. I'm just going to take out Qianpao. Alright. Alright, right now. If they go for... No, I'll go for the Heat Wave. It's a little more gambly, but I do... No, because I don't even know if I'll kill. No, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. Okay. Because they're not going to get the double protect. They need to go for it. I'm refusing to let them get the double protect here. Okay, they're not even going to go for it. That's fine. Dragonite is going to probably kill my Rillaboom here. No, they're going to go for Heatran. Okay, so letting Rillaboom stay on the field is definitely good for me. So they're Thunder Punch and E-Speed. I wonder what their last move is. Because it's probably Dragon Claw or Tera Blast. And I'm okay with either. Qianpao drops. Perfect. Okay. That's very fine for me. I don't even know what mon I'm going to make the video around at this point. Like, if we're going to be honest with each other, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because I'm looking at this team, and they've just Like, I've used every Mon really well in this team. Like, literally everything's gotten damage. I'm very sad, because I don't know what the fuck to make the vid around. We'll go for U-turn here. And they're probably going to just kill something. They're going to go for Tera finally. Okay, Tera finally is good. This might give me an out to figure out what the fuck I want to package this around. It's going to be whatever probably kills a Dragonite, in all honesty. That's probably what you'll see. Tera ground. That's so interesting to me. This works out kind of well, weirdly enough, though, because that means they probably need to go for the... They're going to go for Earthquake here. Okay, that's okay. That's very okay. Rillaboom takes the hit on 1. We can now go for a cycle here, where I can flinch the Dragonite and kill it with Landorus, and get the Landorus hit still up because I have the thumbnail anyway. I'm more than okay with that. I'm very okay with that. Even if they're inner focus, that's fine. Because that just means that I could probably... Yeah, I'm going to still go for the fake out. Am I? Do I need to? No, I don't actually need to be fair. Do I need to? I kind of want to. They're definitely multi-scale, actually. And it's... So, for one, they're Stab with Steam, which is really funny. Their Stab is reliant on Tera. That's really funny, just overall. 2, they're definitely 100% multi-scale. And I know that just because of how little they took from Flash Cannon from Heatran, there was no reason that should have done that little. So, we'll kill it with Earth Power. And the Dragonite is gone. Perfect, okay. So, we can still get the Landorus video. We'll take that. We'll take that. Landorus is really doing exactly what it needs to do. It's meant to be a cleaner in most of these games. Palutena is such a good lead option. You kind of do just need to play it as a cleaner. So, if you want to use it, down below, team is going to be in the description with the rental code and the paste. If you enjoyed and want to see some more content like this, of course, like and subscribe. Channel member video went up yesterday. I went up, to be fair, a lot later yesterday than I wanted it to. I forgot to put the vid up until midnight. So, it was like a midnight upload. If you still want to become a channel member today, though, you can check out the Roaring Bin video, as well as get the poll tomorrow for our next member vid. We also are going to stream later today, probably at 7, maybe 5, I'm not sure yet. But check that out as well. With that said, shoutouts to our channel members currently for just a couple dollars a month to get some nice bonus videos. Our channel members currently are going to be Zeke0, Mia, Bbat, Timo Mueller, Sam, Rao Plays, Obo, Johannes B, The Double, Chansey345, Endless Gadgets, and Bam Bambi. Your guys' support in the channel is greatly appreciated. And again, channel membership button down below, as well as the subscribe and like buttons if you want to stay up to date on future content and support the content. Let me know what you want to see next. Tomorrow we're doing camera up. That was a vid that was suggested from a commentator, and I found a really cool team actually that I'm going to use. So we'll see you guys then. Until then, peace out, guys.